So there is a rumor circulating that many of the brand new 3090 Ti graphics card PCBs, printed circuit boards, are more or less a prototype for NVIDIA's future 40 series GPUs. So apparently the GA102 die of the 30 series found on the 3090 Ti, 3090, 3080 Ti, and 3080, and the AD102 die of the 40 series, which is upcoming, are pin compatible, meaning that the new chips would be able to be put into existing PCBs, at least physically. And as seen on many of the 3090 Ti PCBs, there are many missing components related to power delivery mostly, such as MOSFETs and power connectors, components that will likely be necessary for the alleged 600-watt cards expected for the 40 series. So an example of this that we've seen is if you look at any of the 3090 Ti for the Win 3 teardowns, you'll see that there are vacant solder pads for an additional 16-pin power connector right next to the main power connector, the one power connector that is on the card. So, why would that be missing unless there were a model that had another power connector, which one theory could be that they're reusing that PCB for the Kingpin, and that will have dual power connectors. The other theory is that this PCB will be reused for the 40 series, and they're just essentially making a future-proof PCB that can be customized depending on which die they put on it. And we see this similar things on the Founders Edition / reference board as well, with missing MOSFETs and power delivery components. The biggest thing is that they're saying that this is most likely due to these components not being necessary for maybe additional power phases for a card that has a 450-watt TDP, which sounds crazy enough, but that will be necessary for the 600 watts. So maybe they're just overbuilding these PCBs so that they can use them for the next generation, which probably isn't that far away.
Well, I mean,
they're probably getting into that the point where NVIDIA will be sending out dies for these AIBs to start testing anyway.
I honestly think we're at the point where they're probably shipping them out right now, or they're sending out specs or something to prepare people to make their cooler designs or whatever. Because you got to remember, by the time we hear so let's say it's getting launched in September. Traditionally, every year it's around that, or every 2 years it's around that time. If it's getting launched in September, it's pretty realistic at the beginning of that year they're shipping out dies, or they're shipping out plans or information on it. Because remember, when it goes live for sale, they usually have all these things in stores. That's a lot of infrastructure to move through before it, goes live. So, yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I'm wondering if NVIDIA was change these parameters in the BIOS and that die will pull 600 watts so you can future-proof test for future GPUs. And you can just turn up a 3090 Ti to 600 watts. That's what they are saying, that there's some rumor that there's a 600 watt BIOS somewhere.
Oh yeah, XOC BIOS. I guarantee it. It's going to come out.
But whether or not that's going to work without those power delivery components, not really sure.
I mean, so it would be smart for them to keep this PCB, because I mean, I think this new PCB design is pretty nice. It's not horrible, compared to I don't know, 900 series PCBs were kind of really bad with placement of parts and cooling. Remember the old cards that had these massive coolers, but if you actually looked at it, all it was touching was the GPU, and all the memory and everything else was there's an air gap. It wasn't even touching.
Well, here's the thing. The reference board is the Founders Edition now.
Yeah.
Which is essentially the size of the 3090 Founders Edition, which is a really tall card. And the power connector is still on the top, or the side panel side. But I believe now it's 90 degrees straight up instead of the 45 degree slant that it was before.
Yeah, because it was going off of it.
Yeah, so now it's straight towards the side panel, I'm pretty sure. That's going to be tough for some cases. You might not be able to use that card and have a side panel fit. So if that's a reference board and if that's adopted by a lot of AIBs, EVGA has kind of always been comfortable doing custom PCBs, but a lot of other companies like Gigabyte and Asus use reference PCBs for the majority of their lineup. So if that's the case, we're going to have some cards that are going to literally need wider cases to fit them.
Mini ITX builders be, aw.
I know they're gonna start just like making them super wide. It's gonna look like a VCR.
It's gonna have a slot just for the card. Like it's gonna be sticking out the side of the side of the cases. You know how like we had like holes for like CPU ventilation back in the day? Now it's just gonna be so the rest of the GPU could stick out like a hot rod.